Those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman, and we're broadcasting from Park City, Utah, home of the Sundance Film Festival, the nation's largest festival for independent cinema. We're broadcasting from its headquarters. Today, we speak with one of the most famous independent filmmakers in the world, Michael Moore. For the past 20 years, Michael has been one of the most politically active, provocative, and successful documentary filmmakers in the business. His films include Roger and Me, Fahrenheit 9/11, Bowling for Columbine, for which he won the Academy Award, and his latest, Capitalism, A Love Story. Michael Moore was in Park City this week to watch some of this year's selections for the Sundance Film Festival. He's also choosing some for his own, the Traverse City Film Festival in Michigan, where he now lives. I had a chance to sit down with Michael Moore just after a film screening, just before he headed back to his hometown in Michigan. I began by asking him about the situation in Haiti.
Well, I mean, the most wonderful thing about when you say the U.S. response is that the individual Americans have immediately rallied, that day, to wanting to help, whether it was texting a donation to the Red Cross or volunteering to go down there. People immediately began collecting. I was in Miami when the earthquake happened, and so I saw a lot of it there. I mean, just the Haitian community and others in South Florida. There was a doctor in Fort Lauderdale who owned his own private plane and just decided not to wait for the government to give him any clearance. He just went to the airport, literally hopped in his plane, went there, gathered as many injured as he could, put him in his plane, this is like with no permission or anything, and brought 15 or so people back to the Fort Lauderdale hospital. I mean, that was, I thought, God, you know, why don't we see more of that? But the response from our government is once again the sort of, you know, clunky, we're too big, you know, the saying, we're too big to fail. This is like, we're too big to succeed. That's what it feels like. Now, I will say this. Obama immediately, within hours, trying to pull the apparatus together and put it into motion, was in marked contrast to what we saw during Katrina and other events during the Bush years. So on that first day, I remember feeling really good about that. By the second and the third day, when no, you know, real help had arrived, and the concern turned, you know, mostly to how are the Americans doing there? The Americans at the embassy, the Americans at the Montana hotel, et cetera, et cetera. And naturally, of course, I mean, it's human nature to care about your own first, but I would hope by this point that we're in a place where we just care about everybody and that we don't see ourselves as more human or more worthy of life.
Didn't you know a group of nurses who wanted to go, more than a group?
Oh my God! Well, this is the National Nurses Union. This is the saddest thing that's happened. And I would hope anybody listening to this or watching this would respond and put pressure on the Bush administration. The National Nurses
The
Union,
Obama administration?
Yeah, what did I say? The
Bush administration?
Yeah, we already put pressure on them. They're no longer with us. But that wasn't just Freudian. That is my state of mind. That is how I'm, you know, feeling, because I won't accept the sugar-coated difference between the Obama administration and the Bush administration. And you can say on the surface just how great things are in terms of compared to the last eight years. But the substance, when it comes to, you know, the rubber meeting the road, I can't tell you how profoundly disappointed I am at this point. And this situation with the National Nurses Union, they went out to their membership. Who would be willing to go to Haiti right now? over 11,000, almost 12,000 nurses, 12,000 nurses around this country have signed up who are willing to go right now to Haiti. I don't know if I heard it on your show last week or someplace that, you know, essentially one nurse could provide help for dozens of people. So just imagine if we could get 12,000 nurses there with the necessary supplies, how many people could have been helped? I mean, this offer was made days and days ago.
To who?
To the Obama administration from the executive director of the National Nurses Union. She contacted the administration. She got put off. She had no response. Then they sent her to some low-level person that had no authority to do anything. And then finally she's contacting me, and she says, do you know any way to get a hold of President Obama? And I'm going, well, this is pretty pathetic if you're having to call me. I mean, you are the largest nurses union. You are, I believe, one of the vice presidents of the AFL-CIO, of the main board of the AFL-CIO, and you can't get a call into the White House to get 12,000 nurses down there. I don't know what I can do for you. I mean, I'll put my call in too, but as we sit here today, not a whole heck of a lot has happened, and it's distressing. It's just one example, I think, of so many things, and you covered a lot of it last week when you were there, that just have fallen through here. Well,
let's stay on the issue of health care, but in this country, as all this was going down in Haiti, the Massachusetts election took place, replacing the late Senator Ted Kennedy, and it was the Republican who won, Scott Brown. This has profound implications for health care, but you've been critical about the direction President Obama has been pushing on health care. Talk about this year in health care and what you see needs to be done.
Well, I sent a note off to the White House the night of the Massachusetts election, and I said to President Obama, I'm sure you're not surprised. What did you think was going to happen after a year of completely going back on everything you promised in terms of real universal health care? A year of you not getting us out of Afghanistan, but escalating the war to a degree that is shocking. What did you expect to happen after a year of, instead of coming in to tie these banks and these institutions down and make them pay for what the damage they've done to the average American, instead giving them more help, more of a bailout? It's like, what did you think was going to happen in Massachusetts? That your base was just going to wake up on Tuesday morning and go, oh, I can't wait to go to the polls and vote for somebody to back everything that's been going on? I think a lot of people woke up and said, I could care less at this point. I'm so upset, and I'm not going to go vote. Now, of course, the other side, you know, yeah, they're always up. They're up at like 5 in the morning trying to figure out how to screw the human race. So I'm not surprised they got to the polls. But I think that it was a good trailer, a good coming attraction for this November. And Obama a year ago, man, he just had it right in his hands. He really could have chosen a different path. The country was demanding it. There was such an excitement that we were going to turn away, radically away from where we'd been in these last 8 years and create the country that we all want it to be. Vast majority of people voted for him. And that he thought that the way to go in was to go in trying to be like the other side. This is the continual and historic failure of the Democratic Party in our lifetime. That they think the only way they're going to survive is to be Republican light, and every time that happens, it goes kaboom.
How did 60 become the new 51? I mean, when the pharmaceutical bill went through that supposedly the Democrats were very, very against.